Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Friday, September 27th, and I'm anticipating that this will probably be my last Big Brother Gossip CarCast of the season. No promises, but very likely, and so I thought I would kind of wrap things up. A reminder that we have our Big Brother finale, Big Brother Gossip Show finale, at 10 p.m. Eastern tonight. Those of you that want to catch it live, you can follow me on Twitter at BBGOSSIP. I will tweet out the links. I will also tell you that we should be doing it on both our normal, our most often used venue, Mixlr, Mixlr. If you go to Mixlr.com and search for the Big Brother Gossip Show, you should find links to it. There's a little chat room. You can listen. You can participate if you want to. However, I would warn you that I'm not sure if we're going to be using that means next year or not. It's still up in the air. And I say that because we are looking at possibly switching over to YouTube. No real video, mind you. But a YouTube channel to stream our podcast when we do it live. We still put it out there on the regular podcast sources, but it's a little bit easier for most people to get to it. I understand there's a few people that are like, oh, I don't like it because someone was like, it holds up I can only do YouTube on my phone. I can't listen to your podcast and do something else with my phone, which yes, you are right. That the one advantage to Mixlr is that you can listen to our podcasts and surf the internet with your phone at the same time. I'm sorry. We're really just trying to accommodate the most people that we possibly can, and we think that YouTube Live will do a better job of that. So our show tonight should also be on YouTube Live. If you go to YouTube, if you search for Big Brother Gossip Show, you should find it. It has last week's show there, and it has a couple of shows from earlier this year there. And there's a test there that's a 14-minute test. At about 10 o'clock tonight, there should be a new live option to watch the current video. We will also tweet out links on Twitter, but again, I know not everybody has Twitter. And we have I won't modify our page for that, but the BigBrotherPodcast.com also has a shortcut link to our Mixlr page. All right, so there's enough about that. Just swing by, hang out, whatever. It's not going to be a long show. We're going to wrap things up. Colette will be doing a happy dance because she was all about Jackson for a good portion of this season. We'll talk about some other things. We'll talk about the future of Big Brother, where we think things are going to go. I will forewarn you, those of you that have never, for some reason, listened, that you may not like some of our podcast. We have differing opinions. We have strong opinions, and we will definitely talk about both sides of every argument. And one side of that argument will be the rabidness of fans on both sides. Whether you hated Jackson and loved Nicole, or didn't really care for Nicole and were rooting for Jackson, you're going to hear both sides of those arguments. And so you have to be prepared to listen to both sides. But we also, at least I try not to, and I'm not saying anybody else does, but one of the things that bothers me about some people online is that they go to the extreme and they take the edge cases of things, and it's like, just stick to the facts, stick to the things we know when you're defending your side or arguing one side or the other. All right, enough of that. What have I learned about Big Brother in the last 24 hours? Now that I've watched a few of the interviews, there are a lot of them out there, and so dig around, just search for it. EW just posted one. I just glanced at one briefly this morning. EW was interviewing Holly and told her about the Beth name, and then David came on. It was like a 10-minute interview, so I don't know if they talked to Jackson or not. I don't know if they talked to Nicole or not. I'm not sure. You can check them all out. Just go looking on the internet. They're out there. The EW also came out with Dalton Ross, published an interview with Jackson in which he maintains that he did not cheat on Slop. I certainly feel like he did. But I'll say this much, and I'll probably talk about it tonight maybe, but I did go back to one of the incidents where we talk about how he was in the shower eating, and I went back and watched it. And you know what? I didn't see him chewing food. What I saw him doing was running his tongue between his teeth and his lip, like cleaning something out kind of a thing. He would go down off where you couldn't see him behind the door, which is when people assume that he was eating food or something, and then come up, and then it'd be like he's almost like, okay, that was good, let me clean that out. But I don't know, it could have been he just had a dry mouth for some reason, but I'm not sure. It was interesting though. I also went back and tried to go back, 10 minutes before he got in the shower to see if I could see him sneak some food or something into this overcoat thing he was wearing. I never really saw anything. That doesn't mean he didn't do something, but I couldn't find, I couldn't catch him red-handed doing something obvious, which I suppose if it had happened, people already would have done that, but I was trying to do a little bit more. He was making up a shake, and he put it in the freezer, and then he went to take a shower. So, I'm not sure. I want to see a smoking gun a little bit better than what I've seen so far. Anyways, that's just a thought. I'm not sure. There's lots of other reasons to be annoyed with Jackson and not care for him, so. And let's be honest, have-nots did end after the week he was a have-not. And I'm starting to jump on the board with that conspiracy that CBS just ended it because he was too tough to manage. What else? I'm thinking. Oh, yes. Shout out. Rob has a podcast, and Tara and I usually don't talk about somewhat competitors, though some people would say, they're out of your league, they're not even close to you. But whatever. They did backyard interviews, so there you go. They're way out of our league. We'll never do backyard interviews. And I didn't watch most of them, but I did watch the clip that someone posted, and I did retweet, of them asking Annalise what an adverb was, or an adjective, and she knew. She knew. And she actually, though, that's the thing, the clip that I even retweeted, she said, but it's really not important after third grade. And I'm just like, her ignorance is just, so frustrating. Oh, what else? JC has a bunch of interviews on Pop TV. They're short, they're edited, they're more of entertaining clips than they are interviews. But I watched all of them. There's about 4 or 5, unless they posted more. They aren't horrible. They were nice and snacky kind of interviews, just quick to watch. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Nicole, anything on Nicole? Oh, I did just see something this morning. I guess Evil Dick was really taken by Nicole, and he's smitten with her almost. And as far as he said, she saved the season for him. Which is kind of funny. And he had someone text her something and then suggested that Scotty from last season should go out with her. Now that's just, come on. Really? That's what you're going to do? You're going to take a girl who's calling her a butterfly or whatever, and I'm going to set you up with the nerdy virgin from last season, because nerdy virgins should be together. Why not say, no, Brett from last season wants to take you out? Why does it have to be the goofy looking guy from last season that goes out with the socially awkward girl from this season? I was kind of annoyed with the fact that's the way he went with that. Whether it was true or not, whether or not Scotty is interested and is kind of like, taken with her. It just, kind of bothered me. So, minor thing. What else? Oh, all right. Well, you know what? Nothing else. So, what am I going to do? I am going to do an occasional podcast on my other podcast channel, which is called Mike's mainly non-Big Brother Carcasts. I know it's a really inventive title. And the last one I did on there, I think, was in May. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it today or Monday. I thought I would do it today, but now I'm running out of time. I may fire one up very quickly and say, here it is, you found it, hang in, just to get it out there. But the easiest way to find that, well, one thing, follow me on Twitter. Although I don't tweet out, I'll tweet out a link. You can always ask me on Twitter, or you can send me an email, and I can send you a direct link. But on podcast things, you would search for Mike's Mainly Non-Big Brother Carcast, or Podcast Carcast. I don't even remember what I say. Or you can go to Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com, and if you search for... this is a good thing because I actually have 2 accounts on there, and one of them is not active, and I keep forgetting to delete it. But if you search for Carcast, Carcast, in the search, you should be able to find it. And you can see the old episodes and stuff through there. It's a web interface. But you can also, as I said, you can find it on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, all of those. It's Mike's Non-Big Brother Carcast or podcast. And you can listen to me there during the off season. I've still not watched the season premiere of Survivor, so I have no thoughts on that. But I'm going to guess at least one day next week, if not more, I may pop onto there and vent or talk about things for a little bit. Most likely not Big Brother, as the title implies. Although I have to admit, if that's the only place I'm talking to myself and you guys, that will be possible that I will drop in tidbits about Big Brother. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this for the last 3 months, 4 months. Appreciate it. I think I'm averaging somewhere in the range of 400 to 500 people listening per one of these in the close time. People can go back and find it later, but I can guarantee that that this one being after Big Brother, at least by the end of the day, probably 300 to 400 people will have downloaded this. Maybe they don't listen to it all, but they've listened to part of it, and I appreciate that. And it's been fun, and I've liked the feedback from people. And don't forget, we'll do our show tonight and talk about everybody's thoughts. We'll wrap things up in a bow, and then we'll chuck it over the side, and I will go back to having a somewhat normal life, maybe. We'll see. All right, that's it. Take care, everybody. You can always contact me at ilovereality@gmail.com. But until next, very likely, June, have a very good rest of 2019 and start to 2020, unless you're listening to my other CarCast, and then, hey, we'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye-bye.